Welcome to Sentinel Talk Show, where we stand guard over your digital work. My name is Dr. Adolskaya, and as you know, in each episode, I'm joined with leading cybersecurity experts, with very smart people to give you some advices to improve your security posture. Together, we will discuss how we can be better and what we can learn from each other. So I want to keep it short, and I want to introduce my guest for today, which is Ken Fishkin. Ken is an evangelist, a cybersecurity professional, a privacy professional, and a good friend of mine. So instead of me talking about him, Ken, welcome to the show, and it's nice to see you again.
Thank you, Erdal. I really appreciate you having me on today.
It's always a pleasure. So please tell us who you are, what you do, and then we can start slowly with the show.
Absolutely. So I currently am the head of security for a large national law firm, Lowenstein Sandler. I've been there for about 6 years now, almost. And before that, I had over 20 years experience doing consulting for various mid-sized clients of all different industries. So it was very interesting to go from consulting to a job where I only have one client now.
Look, I know you for a long time now, and I know you're doing some great stuff. Looking at 2025, the cybersecurity landscape is marked by an escalation and evolution of ransomware attacks. When we look at ransomware attacks, we saw a rise in ransomware service. Unfortunately, there are still many small and medium-sized businesses targeted. Attackers are getting faster. They use AI. There are many new ransomware groups like ALOC, Airbus, Brian Typer, Cortex. When we look at vulnerabilities, they use tools, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, like AI, and unfortunately, they find ways to come into your networks. So, as you mentioned, you work in a law firm, you take care internal security, but I'm pretty sure you see many clients, they face ransomware issues. Would you like to share some experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely ransomware is still the number one threat, as we all know. And one of the things that has been crazy right now is that it keeps morphing and adapting. There was first there was extortion, then there was double extortion, triple extortion, all these different variations of ransomware, and now it's more like a jewelry heist where they just smash and grab. So they're just taking your information and making it public, and you really have a choice. Either you want the information to go public or not. There's no more, well, we have backups. That doesn't matter anymore because they're gonna, if you have sensitive client information, you have to make a decision whether you want that information to be leaked or not. And that's the scary thing about all this, is that regardless of how well you proactively make sure that this doesn't happen to you, you still have to make decisions at the end. And how you go about that and how quickly you go about that will determine whether you are successful or not, and whether your reputation will be impacted, financial. It'll be a huge risk to any company, depending on on what you choose.
True. I mean, I want to focus, if you don't mind, about ransomware again. The very famous ransomware happened, I think, in 2016, 2017, which was called WannaCry. Back then, I was working for Microsoft, and everybody was panicking, and they even blamed me in a stage. Oh, yeah, it's your fault. I'm like, why? Look, there was a vulnerability, Eternal Blue. Then Microsoft released the urgent patch, and the first attack happened not 2 hours, not 2 weeks, not 20 days. It happened 2 months later. So people were slow on updating. But when we look at ransomware, originally it first happened in 1980. I don't want to go that much back. And I remember writing, my academic side. I wrote a paper to pay or not to pay. This is the question. I was influenced by Shakespeare. And back then, I said, I foresee people are going to pay. At LinkedIn back then, I had more than 1,076 comments. I remember the exact number. So, hey, you support the criminal gangs? I'm like, no. I'm not. I foresee that you're gonna pay. And today, many years later, I saw many big organizations paid ransomware, and not in 10,000s, in millions, and sometimes a multi-million dollars. I think the biggest was for a computer manufacturer. They asked for $50 million. If you remember, it was all over the news. Um, we saw some companies, they paid ransomware and they were back in business, and some didn't pay and they released again public information, more than 50 gigabyte of source code of their games. So you, as an expert, what would you recommend? Like, should we pay? Should we not pay? Or what? Before we come into the payment stage, is there any better stuff to do?
Yeah. So I mean, when you're before anything happens, you need to make it that kind of a decision. You don't want to be in a decision where you're under the gun and you have to make that decision. So we do at our firm, and we always recommend this to other people, is to have something called tabletop exercises. And that's when you get the people that have a vested interest in this type of a decision together in one room, and you come up with scenarios and you that are as realistic as possible, and you discuss, all right, so if this merger and acquisition information was to leak, how much money would we want to pay in case ransomware was impacted on with this particular data? It was about to be sold on the black market. And you start going through what matters and what doesn't matter to you, and then you have a nice, I'll say a sheet of paper basically laid out, so that way when you have the crisis, you can just go to that reference material and say, oh, this is what we discussed 6 months ago, so we don't have to rehash this, and you could just make some quick decisions, because there's a timer that goes off when you get ransomware. It's like a little bomb going off, a fuse, right? And you don't have time to vacillate whether we should, what's the right thing to do. You already have that information at hand. And that's really the position that you want to be. You want to make sure that you have key people such as external counsel lined up. You want to make sure your digital forensics team is lined up, PR, all the things that are necessary. You want to make sure that you've done as much possible work up front in the case that you have that particular incident, so that way you can react as quickly as possible. Your clients will be much better served when you do something like that, and the firm as a whole will be really in a much better place.
I totally agree, because as you mentioned, we should check. Like, cybersecurity is not a tool set. Cybersecurity is not just a skill; it's a mindset. And I think we should change our mindsets. We should assume breach. And this is not me. I'm not saying that. This has been said for so many years now. But we still see attacks happening. And sometimes even enterprises, they provide cybersecurity services, get as victims, because not because they're bad, because we still deal with humans, which is still the biggest risk factor. Probably we are not doing the right risk management. So, coming back to your expertise, what would you recommend to minimize those attacks? So what should people do?
People should learn about the latest types of attacks that are going on. Many people are familiar with what's going on with North Korea, how they're pretending to be job seekers, and they're doing a great job, with the job when they get hired. And it's amazing, all that money is going directly to North Korea. So you can have practices where you have to insist that a camera be on when you're interviewing somebody, or other ways to validate that the person is actually who they say they are. That's a big one that we make sure happens at our firm, and we make recommendations like that. There's plenty of other things that you need to do to make sure that you are up to date with the latest types of threats. And one of the ways that I do it is I am very in tune with them by staying in touch with organizations. So organizations such as LSISAO, which is an information sharing organization that is geared specifically toward cybersecurity professionals in the legal industry. And that's where we discuss the latest types of threats and how we are handling it. And that way, as a community, we can learn from each other and decide what's the best defense, what's the best offense, and figure out from there what each individual firm needs to do depending on the resources that they have. So I wouldn't be nearly as good as where I am without the people that I learn from.
You know what I liked what you said about? You didn't even mention anything technical yet. And many people, when I asked this question, they said, invest on cybersecurity products. And the more products you have, the better. No, actually, I like your approach more. Once you get awareness, once you do tabletop exercises, once you improve the security culture, and then use the tools based on this, or use the tools together, because security should be built in, then it's going to be much better. Talking about table size exercises, I know you're an expert on this as well. What would you recommend fellow CISOs, cybersecurity experts, should they do it, and if yes, why?
Well, definitely they should do it. And it's not just for cybersecurity experts. It's to make sure that all the departments that you have that could be impacted by a cybersecurity incident, like human resources, finance, general counsel, marketing, all these areas could potentially be impacted. And you need them all to be present when you're doing these tabletop exercises to make sure that they know what their roles and responsibilities are. Because the last thing you want to do is have somebody scrambling at the last minute saying, you know, this is something that I haven't even thought about before. And you want them to be aware of everything and know what the possibility, what their options are. So that way they can make intelligent decisions. Because it's really rough when you're in the middle of things to make intelligent decisions. You're just being very reactive. So you need to be able to take some time, take a step back and be like, okay, now I have this type of time. What would I actually need to do that would be in the best interests of the firm and the clients that I represent?
So again, I like what you said. To summarize it, and correct me if I understood wrong, the future of cybersecurity demands more than skills. It demands character. And of course, integrity when no one is watching. Courtesy that never stops questioning, and resilience because attackers will come. And putting all this together is going to create a nice cybersecurity strategy. And I think this is one of the most important steps when it's come to build a defense strategy, right?
Absolutely. I mean, security awareness as a whole is critical for every firm. And a lot of people think that security awareness really just means the annual security training test that they have to take that's mandatory. But that is just the beginning, really, of learning about security awareness. It encompasses so many things and so many levels, and it's a whole program that needs to be developed.
So I think we should challenge our fellow cybersecurity experts, not just to be defenders, but also educators, innovators, because all this requires the innovation mindset. And all this is going to make them leaders. And to build a secure system, it's really important to build awareness. Of course, we have to investigate threats, but also evaluate our teams and create awareness, custom awareness program. So if I use the same awareness program to my IT team and the finance team, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to get the wrong message. And I think the most important thing is we should never stop learning, because attackers are not stopping and they always find a new way. And as you mentioned a few seconds ago, sometimes they get hired by organizations, they get access to corporations, and they start to attack as an employee. happened, right? It was on the news. So I think putting all this together, we still need some technical aspects. Would you recommend? Do you have any recommendation based on that?
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with the endpoints, really. The endpoints are where most of the attacks happen, and you have to make sure that those endpoints are locked down as much as possible. And the endpoints also are the users themselves. So identity management. So endpoint management and identity management is really where security should be focused around, because we, as you were discussing before, are the weakest link. As users, we make mistakes. Even the technical IT people, we will make mistakes. And the computers that we're on, that we use every day, are the ones that are going to be targets. To make, they're the ones that are malware is going to be installed on, or you click on a phishing link and it prompts us for our credentials. Those are the things that we're trying to protect, to make sure that we do not let the bad guys in. And the smarter they are, the more we have to educate our team, the more we have to come up with tools to mitigate those threats. For example, passwords, that's a huge issue for everybody. Everybody talks about multi-factor authentication being a solution, but there are ways to bypass this. So now everybody's talking about passkeys.
Like for example, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So passkeys now is the latest way to protect people from MFA attacks. So that's the future right now. I'm sure if we talk a few years from now, passkeys will be, as long as you have passkeys with XYZ. And, so it's a cat and mouse game, as we all know, but this is what if you want to use the internet, this is what you have to do. And so those are the things that I am spending a lot of time on, making sure that programs cannot get installed on people's computers. A lot of times there's a lot of ways that hackers can find out how to install something on, but there are tools that could help you make sure that you are whitelisting all your applications, and only those whitelisted applications can be used. And whether it's a Chrome extension or one of these applications that doesn't even get installed, those are the ones that you really need to block. And that's where I focus a lot of our attention on.
Perfect. You beginning of our chat, you also talked about learning from each other, and Global CISO Forum is built for this. But talking about Global CISO Forum, of course, it's global audience. Like, how do you take care of this locally? I know the answer. Of course, New Jersey chapter, which I'm a proud member as well. So why do you spend significant time on New Jersey ISO Secure chapter? I know you're not getting paid. You are spending lots of time in this chapter, stealing time from your family, stealing time from your personal life to share with others, learn from others. What is the professional benefit out of it? I know you're not getting paid, because I'm not getting paid either, at least for this. Why should people join local as well as global chapters? What is your opinion on that?
People should join local chapters because without a community to work with and for you to share ideas and to learn from each other, then you really are missing a huge portion of your education and a part of a belonging, I guess, to a profession. So, and it'll also give you ideas that you didn't even think were possible. And that's really what I found by being part of this community. Like, I thought it was strictly just for you watch somebody talk, and then you talk about it with other people, and that was the end of it as far as being a chapter. But now that I've been doing this for about 5 years now, I realize that it is so much more. We're helping communities like the senior centers. We're going there to educate them on the latest risks and scams. We are working with students now to get them involved with cybersecurity, and we are just reaching out to each other, talking about what we do, and that way it's like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing that people can do. So we are educating each other not just from normal seminars and things like that, but just as a community, so that we can all rise each other up and give ourselves opportunities that we didn't even know existed. Like, I wasn't a great public speaker before doing this, but now, after speaking every month for our meetings, now I feel much more comfortable about doing it. So you start getting all these skills that you didn't even know about, and it's just wonderful to be helping other people and to be able to have a community that you can go to when you need help. And those are the things, those are the intrinsic values that aren't really mentioned too much when you sign up to join one of these organizations.
Perfect. So come and join us at Global CISO Forum, and doesn't matter where you are, you can also join us at New Jersey CISO chapter, right?
Correct.
All right. So probably to summarize what you said, we have to remember that behind every system we secure, there are individuals, organizations, and communities that rely on our expertise. Our work has a real and tangible impact on people's life, and working together, it's going to help us to not just react to threats, but also to anticipate them. This is going, in your case as well, to be creative in problem solving and strive to build more secure digital world for all of us. And sometimes it has benefits, as you said. You are not. I mean, I didn't know before that, but I know you're a great public speaker, and I'm pretty sure you had some great sparkings before that. But you mentioned yourself that you are a much better speaker than before. Same with me, to be honest. I mean, I couldn't fix my accent, but I still, you saw me on stage. I still try to, get the vibe up and get everybody involved to learn from each other. With this, we're coming to the end of our show. I'm really thankful for you to joining again. And as usual, I appreciate all your work. Congratulations again on all your awards you won. And together, we're going to grow not just Global CISO Forum, globally, also our local chapter. And we're going to spend lots of time to help others, because we do not forget that human lives are more important than everything. Would you like to say anything as your last words?
I really just want to thank you
Talk show,
for...
last words, that's bad. For this talk show, at least. I have to make my jokes. You know me so well now.
No, but thank you so much, Erdal, for having me on your show. It is really a pleasure. And being part of a global organization like yours will really just elevate us all to learn about other cultures as well, what other organizations' challenges are that we wouldn't even think about being in the United States. And that's what's really interesting. So I really am looking forward to more and more collaboration.
Same here. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon later again. With this, we're coming to the end of this episode. So don't forget to follow us at Global CISO Forum and New Jersey ICQ chapter. Or, we have many global members. If you don't want to be member in our chapter, find a local chapter which is near to you. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon.